It had all the makings of a TV disaster: campy dialogue, garish colors, and a tone that practically winked at the audience. But somehow, against all odds, the 1966 Batman television series became a pop culture juggernaut, catapulting Adam West and Burt Ward to instant fame and redefining what it meant to bring comic books to life. With Julie Newmar slinking into the scene in a costume so tight she could barely breathe, this wasn't your average superhero story. This was Batman like the world had never seen. When ABC launched Batman in January 1966, they didn't just air a TV show, they detonated a cultural bomb. The series, created by William Dozier and based on the DC Comics character, aired twice a week in a two-part cliffhanger format. It combined high-energy action with outlandish comedy, making it appealing to both kids and adults. And at the center of it all was Adam West, who brought a bizarrely earnest gravitas to his role as Batman, and Burt Ward, the wide-eyed, ever-enthusiastic Robin. West's casting as the Caped Crusader was almost accidental. The producers originally eyed Lyle Waggoner, but it was a screen test that sealed West's fate. He played it completely straight, even when the situations were absurd, a choice that would become the cornerstone of the show's comedy. Ward, meanwhile, was plucked from obscurity with barely any acting experience, and his real-life naivete bled perfectly into Robin's perpetual astonishment. Julie Newmar's entrance as Catwoman in Season 1 added a level of sultry sophistication to the gallery of rogues. Her skin-tight black lurex suit was more than just sexy. It was practically a second skin. She famously said it felt like melted black licorice poured over your body. Newmar actually customized her suit by sewing an S-curve into the waist to enhance its fit. But that perfect silhouette came at a cost. The material was so tight and unyielding that it restricted her breathing and movement during action scenes. Still, Newmar's dance background allowed her to glide through the role with feline elegance. The Rogues Gallery was stacked with talent. Cesar Romero's Joker was chaotic brilliance, even if he refused to shave his iconic mustache, merely painting over it with white makeup. Burgess Meredith's Penguin was all nasal growls and cigarette holder swagger, and Frank Gorshin's Riddler cackled his way into fan-favorite territory. The villains weren't just criminal masterminds. They were flamboyant showmen matching the series' bombastic style step for step. Behind the scenes, things were just as colorful. Burt Ward once revealed that the studio had to strap down his anatomy because it was considered too prominent for family television. They reportedly gave him pills to reduce his libido, a bizarre side effect of mid-60s network sensibilities. Meanwhile, Adam West embraced the show's surreal humor, even as he found himself increasingly typecast. West claimed he had so many groupies that he and Frank Gorshin once partied so hard they were kicked out of an orgy for laughing too much. Production of the show was intense. Each week required a tight shooting schedule to meet the 2-episode-per-week demand. Sets were often reused, and budget limitations led to creative filming tricks, like tilting the camera during villain scenes to literally give them a crooked world. The Batcave was a set of recycled props and painted cardboard, but clever lighting made it seem elaborate. The Batmobile, however, was a real modified Lincoln Futura, costing $15,000 to customize and becoming one of the show's lasting visual icons. Before we continue, a quick shout out to Perfect Fifth. They've got some incredible old school music inspired graphic tees like this VU meter design capturing that perfect analog vibe, or this melting vinyl sunset, a minimalist ode to the golden era of vinyl. And this Star Strings and Stripes, a rock and roll twist that's perfect for the Patriots. And for Golden Throwback viewers, they're giving you an exclusive 20% off with the code THROWBACK20. Check out the link in the description. Now, back to the video. Although the show started strong with sky-high ratings, by season 3, the formula began to wear thin. ABC's decision to reduce the show to 1 episode per week didn't help, nor did the addition of Yvonne Craig as Batgirl, a network attempt to broaden appeal that felt more like a band-aid than a solution. The tone became sillier, the stunts cheaper, and the audience drifted. Batman was canceled in 1968, but the show never truly died. Legal entanglements between DC Comics, ABC, and 20th Century Fox kept the series from seeing a proper home release for decades. It wasn't until 2014 that Batman: The Complete Television Series finally arrived on Blu-ray, much to the relief of fans. Licensing issues had even prevented the 1966 show's likenesses from appearing in most Batman merchandise for years. Julie Newmar's Catwoman portrayal has been credited with defining the character for generations, influencing everything from Michelle Pfeiffer's dominatrix-inspired turn in 1992 to the animated versions voiced by Eartha Kitt, who also played Catwoman in the show's later seasons. Speaking of which, Kitt's casting added a groundbreaking layer to the show's legacy, as she was one of the first black women to portray a major character in a primetime comic adaptation. Other quirky tidbits: the Biff Bam Pow graphics were inspired by comic book panels and added in post-production. The Bat Climb sequences, where Batman and Robin scaled walls, were filmed with the camera turned sideways and guest stars, like Sammy Davis Jr. and Dick Clark, sticking their heads out of windows. And let's not forget the catchphrases. Holy insert noun, Batman, became a pop culture staple. Critics were initially divided, but even those who found the show ridiculous had to admit it was addictive. Over time, appreciation grew. Scholars praised its satirical take on 60s culture, and fans recognized it as a unique moment in television history, where comic books, psychedelia, and mod aesthetics collided with earnest performance and accidental genius. So why does the show endure? Because it never tried to be anything other than what it was: a campy, colorful comic book come to life. It didn't apologize for its absurdity, it leaned into it. Adam West once said, "The tone of the show was so clearly defined. All I had to do was play it as if I didn't know I was in a comedy." Julie Newmar's skin-tight suit may have stolen headlines, but the real magic of Batman was its audacious belief that even the most outrageous material could work if you played it with a straight face. And they were right. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory or villain from the classic Batman TV series? And how do you think its campy charm stacks up against modern superhero shows?